1 minute, she said.
1 minute.
It's iPhone time. It's 6:30.
That's what I have to.
I have 6:30. The City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas will meet in a regular meeting in City Hall Council Chambers located at 1716 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas, on Tuesday, November 28, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. We'll call the meeting to order. And Cindy Key will give the invocation.
And all of council would like to thank you all for being here.
Yes, that's right.
Heavenly Father, give us discernment. Anything that has been in the dark, done in the dark, let it be brought into the light. Let all of our decisions be made in the best interest of Gun Barrel City. Let us be transparent and let us do everything for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
And now we'll follow with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance.
I have a roll call from my left.
Burns here.
Evans here.
Jacob's here.
Key here.
Foster here.
We have a quorum. We have no citizens' comments. Okay, we'll go right into the consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agendas are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be a separate discussion on these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Consider approve the following reports: Code Enforcement, Court, Fire, October 2nd, 2023, and October 24, 2023, previous meeting minutes, permits and inspections, planning and development, police, dispatch and animal control, street and park maintenance, EDC September and October meeting minutes, EDC September financials. Do you have discussion or an action?
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to consider and accept the consent agenda. Vote from my left.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacob's, yes.
Key, yes.
Foster, yes.
Motion passes. New business. Judge Grace Wallace, Gun Barrel City Associate Judge, will administer the oath of office and seat newly elected Mayor Brian Cruel.
I, Brian Kroll, do solemnly swear or affirm that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any money or thing of value, or promised any public office or employment for the giving or withholding of a vote at the election at which I was elected, or as a reward to secure my appointment or confirmation, whichever the case may be. So help me God. I, Brian Kroll, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Gun Barrel City Mayor of the state of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God. Thank you.
Castle the gavel.
There you go.
Briefly, I'd just like to say, number one, I'm humbled by this, and I'm honored to sit with this esteemed group of people that have served their city in many forms and fashions, and I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you. So thank you again for everyone being here. Let's get down to our business now. Let's go to new business 2B, discussion and update from Joe Mundo regarding the Multipurpose Community Center. Ms. Smith, did you want to speak on that, or Joe? Thank you, sir.
Good evening, excuse me. Congratulations, Mayor.
Thank you
and
very much.
Good evening, Council. I believe it was the council meeting in September where the basis for design of the community center was approved by council. And at that time, I noted that we'd be back with updates as we moved along. I believe it was the last week in October, the geotechnical firm was on site, did some boring work, and the report was due in 25 days. And of course, they added in Thanksgiving, and so I was promised I'd have it by tomorrow. That will then release the structural engineers to begin their work, and then the mechanical, electrical will follow, et cetera. So we're on the verge of really moving very quickly with production drawings. To start, I think Janet has a good, well, either, whatever drawing. If you want to go to the first drawing, is the site drawing. That would be the first drawing that was in your agenda. And I'm going to try to use this pointer, and I have to alert Councilman Foster and Key first that this is a strong laser pointer. And I should have brought you a hard hat or something so you could duck, because you're closest to the screen that I'm going to use. But and I'll just abandon it if I'm not really good at it, because I don't want to injure anybody. But there is the this is
No, the pointer is not going to show on the TV.
okay. Well, then we'll avoid that. I'll just describe that. On the left side of your screen is Municipal Drive, and that's essentially a north-south street, if you all pay attention to north-south directions. To the east of Municipal Drive and just south of the police station, the police station is right up at the top of that picture. There's the police station. So the project site for the community center is just south of the police station, north of the hospital facility. It sits back about 250 feet off of Municipal Drive to the east, and behind the building, there's another nominal 300-plus feet to get to that back road, which I think is called Lee or something of that sort. I forget that exact name. A couple things to point out on this community center. You see the parking in the front of the building, and there's a rectangle between the parking and there it's right there, that rectangle. That's the entrance portiche or covering for, and it'll be nominally 2 vehicles in length. I think it's 40 feet long, so you can have 2 vehicles under there. The community center is then 80 feet wide by 70 feet deep, and that sits obviously on the right or the east side of the entryway. The importance of that entryway, it goes back to the funding source for this project. This is ARPA funding, and that's tied into FEMA, and it has to be able to function for emergency purposes should the city have an emergency, whether it's say a tornado or could be another deep freeze. It could be, God forbid, another pandemic. So you have a drive-through where emergency services can be dispensed to the citizens. And then we'll get into the specifics inside the building in a moment. The building will have temporary power for power failures. So then that will further allow for the functioning of the building in any emergency, particularly extended emergencies. One other thing to point out on this drawing, on the, I guess it would be the top side, the north side of the building, there's a couple little rooms which we'll see better on the floor plan, but on the inside of the building, those are restrooms on the north side of the building, and there will be two externally accessed restrooms on the north side between the community center and the police station. And those will be separate from, you won't be able to go into them and then go into the building. They'll just be isolated, separate restrooms for external access. When we develop the site drawing completely, we'll probably put some diagonal parking in there, maybe handicap or short-term parking, so that people can come up, use the restroom, and then drive off. Okay, so thank you, Janet. If you could move to the next, which is the floor plan. And now you're oriented so that you're standing on Municipal Drive and you're looking to the east. You're looking at the front of the building. And down below you see that little doors, the double doors. That's the entrance. That entrance goes into a long entrance way, kind of a foyer. Off to the left is one small office which will serve as facility control. If you can just ratchet it up right there, that's good. It'll serve, the office on the lower left corner would be facility control. The athletic equipment, basketballs or what have you, could be stored in there and dispensed as appropriate for leagues or whatever, however that's controlled. Behind that foyer in the center of the facility is the court. That's a basketball court or a volleyball court or a pickleball court or just a nice meeting area. That will seat banquet style. That should seat 100 people in banquet style tables and chairs. It can seat up to 200 if it were, say, a lecture series or not a movie, but you have these hunting programs that portray on a screen and have a large audience. You could put up to 200 people for that sort of a function. At the top of the screen, at the top of that drawing, right there, that would be the back of the building. There is behind the basketball court or the hoop. That's an enclosure for storage, and inside that enclosure, which is about, I believe, 40 feet long by nominally 10 feet wide, slightly wider than 10 feet. You can put the racks, the dollies or trolleys, you might call them, in there that you stack your chairs on or your banquet tables. So that can all be stored in that room, as well as supplies, whatever type of supplies you have. That would be a storage area. The ceiling on that area is a structural floor upon which FEMA supplies for emergencies can be stored and stockpiled. And so you'll be equipped to handle cots or whatever those supplies are. To be honest, I'm not familiar. I know cots, blankets, that type of thing. But there should be sufficient space on that floor for that to occur. Now, obviously, you have to get to it. You can do that with a scissors lift if necessary, or just a ladder. It'll probably be about maybe 8.5 feet high. You'd be able to use a ladder for cots and just individually handle them down. 2 people can handle that. But there is a supply area for that. To the right, on the right side of the community center, if you want to scroll up just a little bit, Janet, up the other way, there, right there, you have in the near right-hand corner, you have a kitchen, a community kitchen, and this is what they call a non-commercial kitchen. By that, we mean that there will be no cooking facility, no grease trap, no vent. that has a lot of significant meaning to it. To the city as the owners, cooking kitchens with those facilities can be real maintenance issues. They can be fire hazards. So this is what some people use the term non-commercial, or they'll use the term warming. It'll have refrigerator, it'll have sink and storage cabinets, room for microwaves, that type of thing, but no cooking per se. Now, on the outside wall, you see outdoor patio. That area will be developed into a patio, and grilling can take place out there, fish fries, whatever the case may be. I know at the church that I participate in, we have fish fries during Lent, and that's all done outside. That's otherwise you never get that aroma out of the entire building if you do it inside. So. But this is designed for that. There'll be the ability to do that outside with a serving window between the kitchen and the outdoor patio. Beside that kitchen, there's a restroom. That restroom's just inside the entry doors. It'll be a unisex restroom, so that'll also be a nice, easy access for the citizens to have in case they need that facility. Behind the kitchen, on the remaining west or east side of the building, to call it the multi-purpose room, that is about, if I remember correctly from my memory, about 40 feet in length, 20 feet nominally in width, and we show a movable divider in the center. So that can be 2 meeting rooms, each one having an access door, and then one large door into that little central access way that goes from outside into the main court area. Each one of those 20-foot sections can seat 25 people around a table chair, or 50 people sitting for a meeting. So you have a capacity of either for a meeting size of 25, or a lecture table without the divider, maybe 60 or so. Moving then over to the left side of the building, or the, what is that? That's the north side of the building, I guess, yes. You see the restrooms, double restrooms, obviously male, female, plus shower, plus locker, modest locker facility, shower facility, and that helps also to serve an emergency. If there were, if we had a power failure and there were people without power, you could provide temporary housing here at this facility, and there would be shower facilities, bathroom facilities, and a locker for temporary storage and what have you. And then you can see in the center of the picture right now on the left wall, you see the 2 outside restrooms. And then there's small areas in there for mechanical, electrical, for the maintenance closet and that sort of thing. And then moving back up toward the front of the building on the left side, you see a multi-purpose room. The multi-purpose room will be a locked, secured room with internet service that can have computers in it and for community access to the internet. But it will have internet access, and then how it gets equipped is a separate topic. In a case of an emergency, that can also serve as a control center or a command center. And what we don't show there, but what we're going to fashion in on the east wall, or I'm sorry, the left wall, is a secure door that would only be used for access back and forth to the police station in terms of an emergency. Otherwise, it would just be a solid steel door. Otherwise, it wouldn't be used, because as a secure room, with the computer equipment and what have you in it, you don't want the chance of somebody leaving that door unlocked for whatever reasons. There will be a window between the office and the multi-purpose room for just for oversight. And the front or the right-hand side of the multi-purpose room, that'll also be a window. And we have to make sure that we put in a type of panel. It may end up being an acrylic so that an errant basketball doesn't, or volleyball doesn't bounce off of that glass, but that's easily accomplished. So with that, the center court, as I said before, it's not a official basketball court in length. So if you couldn't hold necessarily an AAU tournament here or what have you, but for any adult league, I think that they'll be happy that it's not an official length. That's just a couple less steps that you have to try to run, that you think you could have done, but you can't really anymore. And in fairness, you can only we can put a center divider in and say the back portion can be activities most of the time, basketball, athletic type, and the front half can be meeting space. So there's a lot of flexibility built in, and that's the intent, so that the city can use it for however best serves the city. Then the next slide, and I was having a nightmare that I thought I had the north, south, east, west incorrect on here, but I don't know, maybe I'm not. In the lower right-hand corner, yes, I do, I thought so. That's called the south elevation. That's the front of the building. That's incorrect. That's really looking east. But as engineers, we get so used to just drawing things. You have a rule that you always draw something with north to the top of the sheet or to the right of the sheet, and you forget about where you really are in life, and so disregard the titles under there. That lower right-hand graphic is the front of the building. So you're standing on Municipal Drive, and you're looking east toward the front of the building, and you can see the canopy, the driveway entrance across the lower portion there. The windows up above will probably be faux windows or just frames to make it appear like windows. With today's heating and ventilating and LED lighting technology, we probably don't want to add any additional unintended venting for where you lose the heat or you lose the air conditioning because you have a window and you don't really need that light anyway because you use LED lighting, and generally speaking, you just keep it on and don't dim it for external lighting. So that shows you that the elevation, the front elevation, and the left side panels, which don't show real well on that drawing, but there'll be masonry accents for the columns that support the canopy or the drive-through, and then we'll have masonry accents on the front sides on either side. The very specifics of that will be worked out, and how much it returns around the side of the building will also get worked out. If you look at the elevation just above, Janet, just drop it down. There you go. That would be standing over in the hospital lot, looking at the side of the building there, the right-hand side of the building. So you can see the drive-through. You can see the doors coming out to the patio, the service window to the left, and then windows for the two meeting rooms on the right-hand side. Then if you roll around, Janet, to the other side, just the opposite side, there's three doors on that back wall on the next to the wall next to the police station, and the two outside doors are the restroom doors, and then that's a service door for riser access and what have you in the center. So those would be two, and ideally would try to get some external parking out there for quick access to the restrooms. And then dropping down to the rear elevation, the far right-hand door looks like a double door. That's maintenance, that's mechanical, electrical room with panels and wide doors that open. And then the two doors on either side of the court, so to speak, in the back, those are on either side of that storage area where the tables and chairs will be. Those will be 42-inch doors, extra wide doors, so you could get a scissors lift in there and what have you, maintenance equipment to change light bulbs or to access the overhead storage. And then you can see some ladder holders in the back wall and what have you. That is, in a nutshell, the community center. As I said at the very outset, we're waiting on the geotechnical, and then the actual production drawings start in earnest. We should be, depending upon how early your December meeting is moved up, we might have some progress drawings, and maybe you can just put them in your board pack if you're in your council pack if you like, or I'll be happy to walk through them. I might not. It just depends on how many weeks you give us. But the target is that at the January council meeting, we would have a bid package ready. Actually, you'd have it before the meeting, obviously, but the goal would be that there we would be asking for your concurrence to go to bid. And the idea being that if we are able to advertise in January, the target would probably end up being March council, or maybe a special council in early March, and probably not by the end of 2024, but who knows? I mean, depending upon the economy, we could have good bids. If the economy continues to start to slow down a little bit, or to be perfectly honest, we could have to pause and wait a while and try it again. But you can't begin the bidding until you get the package done. And so that's the goal, get the package done and have it ready, and then deal with whatever the economy issues are at that time. So with that, any questions? Otherwise,
Council, anybody have questions?
I do. I have two. What is the width of the hallway that goes into the storage area? I was just wondering if the chair trolley can make that turn.
yes, on either side of the storage area, if you were going to exit the back of the building, that's nominally, I think, 6 or 7 feet. And the doorway is 42 inches wide. You could actually, the chair trolleys or the table trolleys will go in there. You can actually put a motorized scissors lift in there if you wanted. If for instance, you purchased one because you needed that access that frequently, which I don't think you will need, but you could drive it and turn it and get into and park it or hide it, so to speak, in the closet. It's a big closet for those kinds of things.
I was just concerned about making the turn.
Yep.
And I don't know if you know this or not, but I'll ask. Does a warming kitchen allow ovens and/or like induction plates? I don't know what you call the individual.
I would have to ask our mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineer that. You can have anything you want. The issue is that whether it tips the scale where you then have to put in the additional fire suppression system and the grease trap. Now, a warming oven, you would think, shouldn't need a grease trap, but I'm not that familiar with the warming ovens in terms of how warm is warm and whether there's a governor on it so that you don't get it beyond warm and it's actually called baking, and and then it goes from there.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know, but we'll find that out.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Mundo?
I have one question. Do we have a cost announcement yet that's going to tell us what it's going to cost to operate this facility? Like, not operate it, but heating and cooling it and that kind of thing?
We don't yet, but because we haven't designed a system yet, but we will, yes. It's going to be what the MEPs, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing folks call split system, so that you'll have a lot of control because there's a lot of different things going on here. And you don't want to necessarily, let's say, the meeting rooms in the summer, in July, August, you may want those at a different temperature than that very large court area. And the very large court area might not be in use all day long, and so perhaps, I'm going to pick a number, maybe it's at 77 or 78, but in that meeting room, you want it at 72 or something. So there's a lot of individual control to allow for that. Now, this is a pre-engineered metal building frame, and that was selected for the economy that comes with it, the economy of being pre-engineered, pre-manufactured. But with it comes some limitations, particularly in the equipment loadings that you can put on the roof. The more you have to modify that pre-engineered building for a special this or a special that, you start to lose the economies of having a pre-engineered building. So our goal right now is that everything's going to be ground mounted. All the HVAC equipment is going to be ground mounted, not up on the roof. And it'll probably give us more individual heating and ventilating controls for the different areas. But we'll have an operating cost for that once we get it all worked out.
Anyone else? I have one, Mr. Mundo.
Yes, sir.
I know that's going to be a metal building. Will this be kind of for the lack of a better term, a dual facade building? Maybe we'll have some faux stone or something on the bottom half of it or something?
Yes, well, maybe not all the way around. What we're concentrating on right now would be on the front, and that's something that we'll certainly be able to have for you in the December council pack. Would be not only the amount of masonry enhancement, but colors. Because there's a lot of color choices that you can have in the metal building. And of course, then it's important to get, complementary maintenance. And the terminology today, some people call it sticky stone. There's all sorts of different terms for the veneers that you can put on. And that has to get worked out. But for sure, we're going to have some treatments like that for you
we'll have that
probably within
flexibility,
about a
so that'll
week.
be great.
And you can kind of say what you like or you don't like. And then a lot of it can also be determined in the bidding process by the funding, not the funding, but the bid price. If, for instance, there were very good prices, the veneer could be extended beyond, let's say, the base. You could have a base package and then the ability to extend more. The goal is there's a fixed amount of funding available, and so the goal is going to be to get the building everything that you have to have within that package, and then the wish list goes on top of that.
Anybody else?
I don't.
Mr. Mundo, thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
It's some really good news. I appreciate it very much. All right, moving on. 2C, to discuss and/or take action to spend up to $5,000 from the Hotel Motel Fund for the Gun Barrel Quilters Guild 2024 Annual Quilt Show. Discussion, please.
Mayor, the city has received a request from the Quilters Guild. Amount is $4,000 or $5,000. That letter was attached to the packet, and that is to host their annual show in April of 2024.
Is that going to be at that Legacy Center here in Gumbel, correct?
It is at the Legacy Center, yes, ma'am.
Any further discussion? Questions? All right. Do we have any action to spend up to $5,000 from the Hotel Motel Fund for the Gun Barrel City Quilters Guild 2024 Annual Quilt Show. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to spend up to $5,000 from the Hotel Motel Fund for the Gun Barrel Quilters Guide 2024 Annual Quilt Show.
I have a motion from Mr. Evans. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Mr. Foster. Vote from my left.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Key, yes.
Ross, yes.
Motion passes. Item 2D, to discuss and/or take action to consider moving the December regular meeting date up due to the holidays.
Mayor and council, your regularly scheduled meeting would be December the 26th, which is the day after Christmas and City Hall is closed. Staff recommendation is to move that up to December the 12th. That way, we are completely out of the entire holiday season. There's about 2 weeks. The 18th would be the Tuesday before Christmas, so our recommendation is to move that meeting to December the 12th.
I think that makes sense. Just everyone's traveling, I'm sure. Any further discussion on that?
Would that also move the EDC meeting?
EDC meeting, I believe, I will talk to them tomorrow. We'll move till 6. We had this conversation today, and then your meeting will begin at 6:30.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay. So do we have any action to consider moving the December regular meeting date up due to the holidays? Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we move the December meeting date to December 12th.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Foster and a second by Mr. Evans. Vote from my left.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Key, yes.
Ross, yes.
Motion passes. On to item number 2E, to discuss and/or take action to adopt resolution number R 2023-018, repealing resolution number R 2023-005, approved on April the 18th, 2023, in its entirety. That resolution number R 2023-018, a resolution of the City Council for the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, repealing resolution number R 2023-005, providing a severability clause and providing an effective date. Do we have any discussion?
You all will remember this is the $500,000 loan agreement for YNS services.
Further discussion? Then we will take action to adopt resolution number R 2023-018, repealing resolution number R 2023-005, approved on April the 18th, 2023, in its entirety. Again, that resolution is a resolution of the City Council for the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, repealing resolution number R 2023-005, providing a severability clause and providing an effective date. Do I have a motion?
I make the motion.
I have a motion by Ms. Burns. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Ms. Evans. Vote from my left.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Key, yes.
Ross, yes.
Motion passes. To F, please. Discuss and/or take action to ratify a certificate of deposit renewal letter of interest with Prosperity Bank from a 12-month term at 3.25% to a 7-month term at 5.0%.
Mayor and council, in the middle of November, staff was contacted by Prosperity Bank that we had this was expiring at that rate, I don't have my glasses on, at the 3.25 rate. We could renew for a 7th-month term at the 5% rate. Your city manager made the decision to do that, and we are now asking you to approve that so we can get that over to the bank.
Sounds prudent. Any further discussion? Then we'll take action to ratify a certificate of deposit renewal letter of interest with Prosperity Bank from a 12-month term at 3.25% to a 7-month term at 5.0%. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to ratify a certificate of deposit renewal letter of interest with Prosperity Bank from a 12-month term at 3.2525% to a 7-month term at 5%.
I have a motion from Ms. Evans. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Mrs. Key. Vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Key, yes.
Voss, yes.
Motion passes. Now moving to item 3A, dealing with economic development. We have a public hearing to discuss the EDC budget for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. I'd like to ask our city manager, Angie, to speak on this, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The EDC budget was approved by the Economic Development Corps at the October meeting. We published all of the necessary hearings to allow us to have the hearing tonight. The only increase of significance in the budget is the same 8.1% COLA increase that the staff received at City Hall. The administration, Stephen Barnett, the admin, will also receive that in this new budget. That's the only significant increase in the budget.
Further discussion? Questions?
Mayor, you will need to open the public hearing.
We now close the hearing, and we move to 3B, to discuss and undertake action to adopt resolution number R 2023-014, approving the EDC's 2023-2024 fiscal year budget. The resolution of the City Council of the Gun Barrel City, Texas, approving the fiscal year 2023 budget of the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation. Do I have any discussion on this further? Do I have a motion to take action to adopt the resolution number R 2023-014, approving the EDC's 2023-2024 fiscal year budget?
Move that we adopt resolution number R 2023-014, approving the EDC's 23-24 fiscal year budget.
I have a motion by Mr. Foster. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Evans. Vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Key, yes.
Voss, yes.
Resolution passes. On to number 4. This deals with some interviews. 4A is to discuss and/or take action to interview applicants for the Planning and Zoning Commission in open session and consider making appointments. Is Ms. Mullins here?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I would like to propose that the council table 4A, 4B, and 4C. The open positions have not been posted publicly in the Monitor, thereby potentially denying all Gun Barrel City citizens the opportunity to participate.
I have a motion by Mr. Foster. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Evans seconds. So we will table 4A, 4B, and 4C. Do I have a vote?
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Key, no.
Voss, yes.
Motion passes. We will table. Moving to number 5. Public hearing to discuss the unsafe structure located at 315 Whispering Trail, Gun Barrel City, Texas. Ms. Smith or Ms. Dillard, would y'all like to speak to that?
I will, yes, sir. Our code enforcement department has been working with these residents for 2 years. Just to clarify the process for everyone, we send out 6 letters at 5 different times: a warning letter, a citation and abatement letter, a certified letter that we are intending to bring this to council, a notification of the hearing date. Then, following this meeting and the public hearing, we will send them a notice of 30 days to remediate. The owners are aware that we are doing this. We will do all the proper bidding procedures and then file a lien on the property for the cost of the cleanup. There are pictures included in your packet, and our code enforcement officer has worked very, very closely with this resident to remediate this issue.
Any further comments? I close the public hearing. Move on to 5B, to discuss and/or take action to determine whether the structure located at 315 Whispering Trail in Gun Barrel City, Texas, is considered unsafe. Discussion? There is none. I'll Look for a motion to take action to determine whether the structure located at 315 Whispering Trail, Gun Barrel City, Texas, considered unsafe. Do I have a motion?
I move that we take action to determine whether the structure located at 315 Whispering Trail, Gun Barrel City, is considered unsafe.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Key, second by Ms. Evans. Vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes?
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Key, yes.
Boss, yes.
Motion passes. On to 5C, please. Discuss and/or take action to adopt Order 315 Whispering Trail, making findings of fact and ordering the demolition of structures located at 315 Whispering Trail, Gun Barrel City, Texas. The Order 315 Whispering Trail, an order making findings of fact, finding certain buildings and structures within the city limits to be dilapidated, substandard, and unfit for human habitation, and a hazard to the public health, safety, and welfare of the city's residents, ordering the buildings and structures be abated, and ordering the demolition thereof. Do I have a discussion? Everyone is good, then we'll move to action to adopt Order 315 Whispering Trail, making findings of fact and ordering the demolition of the structure located at 315 Whispering Trail. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt Order 315 Whispering Trail, making findings of fact and ordering the demolition of structures located at 315 Whispering Trail, Gun Barrel City, Texas.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Evans, and I have a second for Mr. Foster. A vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes?
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Key, yes.
Boss, yes.
Motion passes. 6A, the council will convene into executive session pursuant to Local Government Code 551.071, and this is for the consultation with an attorney to seek advice regarding contemplated litigation. Let the time show we are convening at 7:18. Let the record show that we reconvene from executive session at 7:50. I will turn the floor over to Ms. Evans.
I move to authorize the city attorney and the city manager to negotiate the resolution of the employment agreement of the former director of the EDC in the terms set forth by and directed by city council.
A second?
Motion and a second.
Are you doing it? You want me to do it?
What?
That's your job.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Vote for my left.
Burns, yes?
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Yes.
Foster, yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to adjourn.
Now we have a motion to adjourn, please.
So move.
Second.
Adjourn.
Oh. Well, you can ask.
Is that no more?
When did you listen?